Hello, Daddy folks. It is Diecastbuffet here again. We got a William Byron diecast in the studio, and it's the Atlanta Super Speedway, the first ever Atlanta Super Speedway event race to win diecast. Truly I think one of the most influential races possibly in NASCAR history, because I truly think a new era of super speedway racing was dawned in 2022. I could be completely wrong, but let's go ahead and dive into it. So you have the Liberty University Atlanta win. That's the official thing. This is from the 500-mile race, and let me tell you, it was a barn burner. It was like Daytona, Talladega, and Atlanta. It was insane. I loved it thoroughly. It was a crazy race, but without further ado, let's go and open up this diecast. Alrighty, folks, right out of the good old box, and here we go. Brand new diecast here in the studio, and of course, picked this one up from our friends over there at Circle B Diecast. You can too, and you can save on shipping, fellas. That promo code down below. Feel free to check that out. Don't have to, but if you use it, you're awesome, and if you don't, you're still awesome. So let's go and take a closer look at this. So go over to the nose of the car. This is like perfect timing for a race to win diecast. You know, red and white paint scheme. The Folds of Honor Quick Trip 500. The confetti for that event is red and white. It just goes perfect with the paint scheme. Let's get whatever's left of the Liberty University decal there. So there's a little bit of a plastic piece right here. Yeah. Kind of a sharp edge there. That's cool. But yeah, you got the Liberty decal there. You go to the front of the car. I mean, it's caked. The whole front nose. It's got a lot of confetti going on here. And it's so nice to see confetti back on Race to Win diecast. You know, as a fan of of NASCAR, you're used to always seeing confetti, and then 2020 happened, and you're like, oh, wow, we don't do that anymore. And in 2021, they went light on it, and then they finally started bringing it back in 2022. A little bit more heavier. You got the 24 there. Sudoku, Hendrick Motorsports. Now this is a new paint scheme. I've sound off on my opinions for this race car. I'll be honest with you, I prefer the 2021 edition of it. But I will say though, the raced version looks better than the standard non-raced version because the logo is just for whatever reason they just look more proportioned. They look more, I don't know, just more accurate to the real thing. And it's subtle differences, but it just looks a little bit cleaner. Ironically enough, because it's not a clean paint scheme, because it's got dirt all over it. You got Exalta there. American Ethanol. Got all kinds of confetti right here. Valvoline, HendrickCars.com, William Byron. And I will have my opinion on the whole super speedway future of the sport. Now, I'll get into that a little bit later in the video here. Akron's, Exalta, Cincinnati Industries, Mac Tools, Simeon's, Liberty, at the 24. Goodyear Cup Series. The 2023 edition of the Liberty car, I believe, got a pretty decent upgrade, maybe not. For what I've seen, the whole hood design is completely different. I don't know how much better it is than this, but, who knows. Liberty University on the tailgate here, Camaro, Z01, or the Caboose, whichever you want to consider it. Valvoline, 24. Got a little bit of a red little top here, subtle differences. Still think the 2021 paint scheme's better in my opinion, though. It was just much more cleaner, and the 2021 car was light years better than the 2020 car. So it's been up and down for me with the Liberty paint schemes. It really has. So go to the right side of the paint scheme. I noticed how the flames kind of remind me of the Hot Wheels flames, which is kind of a nice touch. Liberty 24 Cup Series Goodyear. Really surprised they didn't put some more decals here, though. He's a very popular driver, lots of sponsor opportunities. Really shocked they didn't at least put like a HendrickCars.com decal or something there. You can't see the grill tape marking, or grill tape, idiot, side skirt jack post marking there. I don't remember on the older cars the tape being that tall. Like, that's pretty tall. That's interesting. And, of course, metallic wheels. Go to the roof of the diecast. You do have that signature Camaro stripe. Got the 24. More red and white. Red and blue confetti. I can't even English. You got Byron right there in the back window. More continuation of the stripes. And you have Liberty right there above the trunk. So, that race was very... it was one of the signature events of the season because everybody was like... They didn't know what to expect. I remember watching the first practice session there. I think it rained out on Friday, so they had to do everything on Saturday, I think. something like that. But anyways, I remember watching like truck qualifying, and they didn't know what the biff to do. They didn't know what was going to happen, and it was just such a crazy event because you're experiencing something, in the sport that you've never seen before. Racing like Daytona and Talladega, which I do consider Atlanta as a plate track nowadays. People can debate that till the cows come home. As far as I'm concerned, I'm sold. It is a plate track. The Truck Series and the Xfinity Series, they have some work to do, though, because they can't maintain a pack. If you can't maintain a pack and you're racing pack racing, you gotta fix it. So I think they'll improve that. The Cup Series product was by far the best of the three. The Cup Series product was fantastic. I really think they need to keep that exactly the same. Fix the trucks, fix the Xfinity. They need it badly. But my honest opinion on the whole, reconfiguration of Atlanta, what I would have done is I would have just paved Atlanta and left it alone. I would have left it back to the original configuration, or just not run a super speedway event there and raise the banking. Either or. What I would have done then is I would have went to a track that no one actually likes, like maybe a Kentucky, maybe a track that's been sitting dormant like Chicagoland, and say, hey, the only way we might be able to ever get Chicagoland back is run super speedway racing there. It's better than it getting bulldozed. I do think Chicago is coming back on the normal 1.5 mile configuration, though, so I don't think we have to worry about that. But if you tell me we're gonna rip up Atlanta or Texas Motor Speedway or Kentucky, I'm taking Kentucky or Texas, and we're gonna reconfigure that. That's what I would have done, because Atlanta, in my opinion, was probably the best 1.5 mile on the schedule. Left besides maybe Homestead or Chicago or whatever. But I just think they chose the wrong track to do the super speedway joints at. I think Texas Motor Speedway would have been the perfect track to it. I think Texas in general is a good fit for it. Daytona, really good fit for plate racing. Talladega, I mean, look at the infield. It's great. I think Texas would have been a perfect track to do the super speedway launch, if you will. That's my honest opinion on it. I hope they do that to Texas Motor Speedway, because it's in desperate need of something, because it's going to be a parking lot by the end of the decade if they don't do something. So, I enjoyed it. I'll be honest with you. I loved watching the plate racing there. A lot of people, they hated it. I feel like, honestly, even if they had it in the Winston Cup era, the Nextel Cup, Sprint Cup, you name it, I feel like it would have been fantastic to watch. So, I wish they would have done it at a different track like Texas. Unfortunately, they didn't, but I actually enjoyed the Atlanta race. I thought it was fantastic, and to tell you the truth, I hope they run 2 races there permanently. It's really cool having 6 plate races a year. It really is, and it gets me fired up, because after Daytona, I immediately look to the next plate race. That's my favorite style of racing. You could say whatever you want. Plate racing is my favorite. I look for Atlanta now. And then after Atlanta, I look for Talladega. And then it's Daytona. And then it's Atlanta. And then, that's what I look for every year in the schedule. And it's really cool having extra plate races. So I am all in favor of it. Hopefully Texas gets that configuration to it, in my opinion, because it desperately needs it. It desperately does. That's all for now. Thank you all so much for watching. Feel free to comment down below. Even if you have a completely different opinion, guys, I respect that. I always respect, other people's opinions, so I look forward to reading that. That's all for now. Diecastbuffet, signing off.